So I'd wake up, my hands would be like this. I'd slowly walk over to the computer, put my hands down, and there they would sit for the next few hours gaming on Path of Exile because I love that game. It used to be my life. I used to just feel thrilled every time I started playing it. Obviously, the effect of feeling great when I kept playing it diminished over time, and then I just became addicted to it. So, video games as a form of leisure is quite detrimental, I think, to your health, even if you just say play 1 hour a day, because how the games are built, they're just so addictive. They want to get you into their game and they constantly updating the games to make them better, to make you play them more so they can make more money. So they're just basically on a loop to make the game better and make you, I guess if you are already addicted, they'll try to make you even more addicted. It's very important to strike a balance, but I believe this is what all the therapists say. You know, you should have a work-life balance, gaming balance, blah blah blah. But best case scenario, you just quit those games completely, because if you're not playing the games, chances are you're thinking about these games probably for 50% of the day, or maybe not that much. But in extreme cases, I guess if like new league comes out or something really exciting happens in the game, you will probably be thinking about a game so much throughout the day that you can't even put your focus onto something else that's probably more important. But because or you don't even realize you're addicted, you're just constantly thinking about that game, and it makes it hard to do anything else productive in your life. So, best case scenario, you just cut out these games completely. And then incorporate things like exercise, meditation, reading books, hanging out with friends, going hiking, spending time with family, friends, eating right, getting your diet right, and getting lots of sunshine, just living a fulfilling life, have a purpose, instead of playing video games that could make you mentally unhealthy. So they can make you depressed, they give you surges of dopamine, and if you keep getting that surge of dopamine, well, your dopamine levels are just going to drop, and that basically makes you feel good throughout the day. And if they're below baseline, like a lot of drug addicts, they feel completely terrible when they have such low dopamine. And video gaming is very similar in that stance. So you want to make sure you have healthy baseline dopamine levels, and cold showers, cold exposure will increase these. If this is something you need to help you quit gaming, it's a very beneficial way to feel good and elevate your baseline dopamine levels in probably the healthiest way and very practical way possible, because a cold shower, literally everyone has one of those, unless you live in the desert, I guess. The cold water would still be a little bit colder than the outside, so it's better than nothing, I suppose. They probably just automatically have cold showers there, or they're not even cold, they'd be warm showers, wouldn't they? So I think moderation of gaming, a lot of therapists, say moderate your gaming use, blah, blah, blah. But if you really want to be successful in other areas of your life and you're just playing 1 hour a day, you can't. It's like playing 3 hours every day, because your mind's just hijacked by these video games. You're constantly thinking about builds and just ways to make your character better, min-maxing, just looking forward to that new content that's coming out. It's very hard to be successful in life when you're playing video games. And you will probably start neglecting responsibilities, like you might need to clean up your house, do the chores, maybe you need to do some work at home, and maybe you need to make some money, extra money, do some overtime, but you don't want to do the overtime because you just want to rush home and play video games. And if you have little kids, maybe you're spending more time on video games than you should be spending on playing with your kids, and that time is used so poorly when you're a video game addict. Or even if you just enjoy playing video games as normal, you're just going to gravitate towards the video games if you haven't got your priorities right. And if you're addicted, well, it's pretty hard to get your priorities right if you have an addiction to video games. And the social interaction you get from video games is kind of limited, because you can't you can't even do a video call with someone. You're just talking like a phone call. So, it's not real. You can't see people's cues when they're talking. You can't get that physical presence. You can't get that more of an emotional connection with people. And if you're talking with people playing video games, it's more likely you're just talking about the game. You're not really actually, you don't give a shit about each other, because if you guys weren't playing games together, there's a pretty good chance, from my experience of friends that I had online, they wouldn't be good friends in real life. If they would be good friends in real life, then if you quit video games and you could have really great time together not playing video games, and that's fantastic. But chances are they probably have a shitty life, just like someone who's an addict, a gaming addict. And if you're sitting down for a long time, like hours on end, well, you're not really getting much physical exercise. If you do go to the gym, or you go for walks every day or jogs for every day, then that's great. But the majority of gamers probably don't get enough exercise, and they probably have a quite a crappy diet. So the balance of health and wealth and sleep is just not there, because gaming into the night is such a common occurrence, and getting that blue light and massive dopamine hits during the night time just before you're about to go to sleep is so detrimental to your health, for the sleep side of things. So you might be sleeping 6 hours, but the quality of the sleep might not be that great, because you constantly, just say you're playing a shooting game, I used to get this all the time, you have dreams of the matches, like you'd be playing CSGO in your dreams, and you'd be hearing all these like gunshots and like flashbangs or whatever going off, and you just can't have a proper night's rest. It's like sleep just basically makes you learn from what you did the day before. And well, I wouldn't say basically, but if you say you have a problem that you want to solve and you go to sleep, there's a chance that you'll actually find the solution when you wake up. Well, if you're sleeping after you're playing video games with a lot of animations of shooting and a lot of sounds of like explosions, etc., well, when you wake up, you're just going to be, it's kind of empty, right? And that, I guess, can contribute to depression, because it could decrease your mood and really have a detrimental effect on your mental health. So it's more important to get your like sense of challenge and achievement from doing hobbies like playing sports. If you like to play an instrument, hang out with people, find groups that play games together to get that same sort of gaming satisfaction, and really have that good social interaction, because that's something that a lot of gamers are lacking, especially if they're addicts. And I think most gamers are addicted in some form of another. And the really bad thing about gamers is the time management. So they might say, I play 1 hour every day, but in reality they're probably playing 2 or 3 hours. And then also with the thoughts, you're getting all these thoughts coming in randomly throughout the day about the game, because you really love the game so much. You probably don't realize you're addicted, but because you're so engrossed in this game, you just can't think straight and be present with people or focus on your work. And this can really affect your well-being, so your mental and emotional health. You're socially isolated, even though you're still like on Discord or chatting to other games online. You're still being like, it's not 100% social interaction, so you're still isolated from social interactions most of the time. If you're quite a heavy gamer, this is extremely, especially when you're playing single player games like I used to. So addiction, they say there's about over 100 million people that are addicted to video games. I believe the figure is a lot higher than that, because people wouldn't exactly want to disclose that they're a video gaming addict, or maybe they don't even realize they're a video gaming addict, because that was me. I didn't realize I was addicted to video games until I looked back and learnt about addiction and how video games can be abused, and all my thoughts and how I was prioritizing video games over my children. So if you do have an addiction, it's very important to seek help. So there's a fantastic YouTuber, Game Quitters, and there's a lot of, you can just search on YouTube How to Quit Video Games. The Healthy Gamer GG, that's a fantastic channel to look if you're concerned about your mental health. And there is a Discord channel for the Healthy Gamer GG, and they have a lot of people there you can chat with, and usually it's a good space for gamers who are concerned about their mental health. So if gaming is affecting your job as well, if you can't, maybe you've got like a dumbass job like me, like a bus driver, where you don't really have to think too much, then it's fine. But maybe, you need to do work at home as well. Well, video games are just going to make your work productivity so much worse than if you weren't playing video games. So give away that mental disease, in my opinion. That's probably the best case scenario. But I do understand it's quite hard, because you just get so much from it. Like everything, achievement, reward, progress, interaction, storytelling, nostalgia perhaps, puzzle solving might enhance your cognitive skills somewhat. But it's better to find those ways to enhance your cognitive skills outside of gaming. And the problem is video games are usually way too enjoyable, so it's so hard to put them down. And usually if you're a video gamer, you don't prioritize your personal growth. So you just basically go home, play video games, and then do whatever you have to do, go to work the next day, come home, play video games. When what you really should be doing is learning and improving your life all the time, and just growing, self-improving yourself. And video games basically fills that slot, because you're probably escaping from something from real life, and you're putting all these problems behind you when you really should be facing and tackling these problems and learning how to combat your problems that you have during the real day, instead of escaping them through these video games. And self-control, if you're addicted, well, it's super hard to control yourself while you're playing video games. So you can try to limit your time, but it's incredibly hard. And plus, I mentioned a few times that your brain is constantly thinking about these games even though you're not gaming. So they're incredibly hard to put down, especially the ones that are so stimulating. So important to seek professional help if you think you may have a problem with video games. And because they're so satisfying, incredibly hard to put down. I have put together if you're interested in a premium package, very high value package. I've put a lot of time into this, and it will make you basically enjoy and be fulfilled in life without video games. So if you're interested, just click the link in the description and we can see if we're a good fit together. Love you.